This is probably the heaviest thing I have to carry around the whole day. It's say malo elele to our Tongan brothers and talofa to our Samoans and pula vinaka to the Fijian and Australian g'day mate, and to all our printing family, good evening. Just before I start my presentation, I just want to say I'm very humble and privileged and honored to stand in front of you guys as your 2014 Apprentice of the Year. My name is Molisi Saulala. I've got a pretty long name, but Dan said to cut it down to just two names. I was born and raised in Tonga, 16 years in Tonga. Went to primary and high school in Tonga, and then decided to come to the land of the milk and the honey, New Zealand. So moved here when I was 16 and went to school at Aorere College. During this time I thought rugby would be my future, and as you can see, it didn't happen. I dropped out of school because my mother was getting ill. She was getting sick, so I said to my mother, I'm going to drop out of school and help out, because their bank was knocking on the door all the time. And been at work ever since I left high school. Just some few photos from where I'm from, and just recently, that's where those islands are just not far, 5 minutes from where I was grew up and I was raised. If you look just in the third photo, the little island with the little road, that's where I was born and raised. I was there for 12 years before I finally made the move to the main island for secondary high school, and then from there to New Zealand. My family, I'm the only son. Usually the island family is about 16 of us. My family, there's only 4 of us. So only mom, dad, and my sister. There's a photo there of my grandma. She was the one who raised me for 12 years in the island. I was born 6 months, and my mother asked my nana to raise me while she comes to New Zealand and looking for future for us. So, yeah. Life outside of work, moving to New Zealand, I didn't know anything about rugby league until I came here. I follow the New Zealand Warriors, big fan of the New South Wales Blues, another year of disappointment. Also, I've only been in New Zealand for 12 years now, and I follow the All Blacks like it's my national team. It's just like my Tongan team. Looking back, 2007, I think when they lost to France, I couldn't go back to sleep. That's how bad I followed. That's how much of a fan I am of the All Blacks. And I play a bit of rugby myself. Not really good at it, but yeah. My career with New Zealand ME, APN, back when I first started, I was a security guard for 2 years. Security guard for 2 years, and got the opportunity from Dan Blackburn. Had a lot of faith in me. even though I did not know anything about printing industry at all. I walk in the door and I thought to myself, if someone have a lot of faith in you, the least you could do is pay them back or something. And 8 years from then, I never looked back. I took the opportunity and make the printing industry as my family. I basically can say I know inside out of where I'm working now as a post press supervisor. During this time, I completed my level 1 and level 3 as a machine operator. Also, nominated a few times for Apprentice of the Year, about 4 times. So you can see how much disappointment I had to go through those whole 4 years. But it's part of life, I guess. What makes pain is just temporary. It's just make me stronger as a person. I didn't give up on going for what I needed. It was being named as SWAC Apprentice of the Year. It was a big dream when I first started as an operator in New Zealand ME. I completed my apprenticeship in 2014, and also named SWAC Apprentice of the Year, as well given the supervisor for afternoon shift. Also just recently got moved to morning shift. I've been there for 3-4 months now. This time last year, I was sitting back in the jail when they're calling out my name. I was very emotional because it was something I've been thinking about for a while, the whole 3 years, going on 4 years that I was given the apprenticeship. There was a guy named Angelo that I met. Name is probably familiar with my APN guys. I walk in, my first time I met him, he was named entered print Apprentice of the Year. And from that day, I said to myself, one day I want to be like that person. I want to be the person they're receiving the award. And to receive the award, it was basically a dream come true. As you can see, my family, we basically celebrate any success because we're not used to these kind of things, people winning the award. And even for myself as a school dropout, we did a bit of Tongan celebration. Had my family over, also a few members from church. I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to fly over to Australia as my award. Went into Victoria, Melbourne. Right. Going to Australia, usually when you go somewhere, you get picked up in the airport and then you go to where you're staying, have some feed and probably have a rest. But this time it was nothing like that. It was just basically 2015 Holden. There was Graham Robertson. He picked me up. He was basically my driver. He picked me up and we were straight to our first tour. I had to practice pronouncing all these Australian words. Palarat. So I met Matt Hancock. I think he's been here a few times. Very good. He's the site manager there. He took me around for a tour, also showing me around the plant. They basically print the age and the career. I was lucky enough to see how they do their printing, and also running into Angelo. Angelo is the one on the first picture. Very a guy that I really look up to. He's the whole reason why I'm standing up here. I so wanted to be just like him. Ran into Graham Robertson, took me around and met some of his friends. In this part of Australia, there was only one Tongan family there, and I met his dentist, and also they they took me out for dinner, which is the best part of the trip. Always the dinner. Not the we are Tongan, we don't eat that much, so. Okay, day 2. We left Ballarat. We came back to Melbourne. Lucky enough to see Melbourne, the Herald Sun. Basically, the biggest printing place I've seen. Been to a few places already, but this has have to be. I was very excited as well because it was like me going home. That's where all our machines are basically the same. So I was like a little kid running around, and I was taking pictures here and there, and then I got told off that I'm not. Right. So you can see they have a lot of Ferrag, and they have 6 lines. They collect run, they run up to 25k. Also in straight run, they can run up to 45k. And then Graham decided to took me around for a tour, showing me around his toys. Apparently he's got $1 billion boat there somewhere. So, yeah. We were back on the road again. It was basically a long drive. I come from Tonga, which only takes about 45 minutes from the other side to the other side. And went from there to New Zealand, which is Auckland, it's basically the same thing. And then went to Australia. It was, first day it was 2 hours drive, 4 hours drive, back and forward. And by the time second day came, as Graham Robertson, I was basically sleeping the whole time. They just at Shepparton, they have just a small plant. They have few. I'm only interested in the post-press area because that's mainly what I do. Nothing to do with the printing, but they have basically just a small plant. And from there, we went on to Bottomale. I ran into Uncle Frank, which is and lucky enough to see their printing, their presses. Basically, I went from the biggest to basically the cleanest press that I've seen. They basically on top of their game. They look after their press. I think when it comes to health and safety, they don't see them having any problem. So you can see how clean their real stand and all the presses all clean. On our last day, day 3, we visit Whangarata. Whangarata, yeah, there you go. And as well, it's just a small little plant. They only have about 6 permanent staff there. Most of their jobs gets done by minimum numbers. Usually they use the casual. And then we went back to Melbourne. And this is the highlight of the trip because we beat Queensland in that game. So it was a really good time. I get to see some friends and pick up a bird, and there was no action happen, by the way. So some more photos of how we beat Queensland. I like to say that all the time because that was the only game that I basically witnessed. There was about 91,000 people there. And then I went home by myself. On our next day, we went to AIW printing. We were only allowed to take a few pictures. Some place they didn't allow us to take photos, but my time there, I managed to see basically all the cool toys that we don't have here. I've never seen a machine actually picking up our bundle and putting it on pallet, and basically another robot picking up the pallet and taking it outside. I think if they didn't see that, probably all the staff at APN will be gone by next week. So I didn't say anything, so they have some old mullah, but which is the only pictures that they allow me to take because it's probably not used at all. And on my final tour, I was taken back to DS Campbell. They were my host, and they took me around their plant. Very interesting knowing about the staff. They basically welcome me with open hand, showing me around. DS Campbell, they manufacture market quality printing chemicals throughout Asia Pacific and some photos from what they make for best press. So my thank you. Just want to say big thank you to all my bosses, Dan Blackburn and Dan Blackburn's boss and his boss, Russell and my team from Enter and Me, also to my boss Blair Evans. He was basically had a lot of people had a lot of faith in me. I walk in on the first day. I did not know what I was doing in there. I did not know a single thing. At times I felt like giving up because I didn't know what they were talking about. Even I didn't know what a screwdriver is. Didn't even know what an Allen keys is. And for people like that to believe in me, I can't thank them enough. To all the sponsor and SWAT committee for giving us opportunity for young people like myself. It's something that a lot of us are dreaming about. I work every day and wishing that someone like young people coming after me, they will look at what I'm doing. And if for someone there's just a security guard 8 years ago, and to get to where I am, I don't know how I got to where I am. But it goes to show that my organization is actually believing in young people and taking the opportunity when it comes. Just some few quotes for the young apprentice coming up. This is something that I always use in my journey. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Standing in front of you guys, it's basically getting out of my comfort zone. Been having sleepless night just because thinking of this. It's just, I was sitting at the back. I thought there was only 10 people here. Came up, it was like looking like 1,000 people here. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. A lot of us, young people, looking at the opportunity and we think the opportunity is just about getting hand over to you. It's you think it's just a walkover, but there's a lot going behind it. There's a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, and for you to actually get to where you want to be. My last quote: when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I wanted to be successful because I had a family relying on me. I had a sick mother who couldn't pay her mortgage and basically put food on the table for us. My mother actually worked 3 jobs when my first time I came to New Zealand. I will see her once or twice. She'll come in. From the day that I went to school, every morning I went to school, she'll come and kiss me and give me my lunch money and then basically say goodbye. I still remember that day up to now. And I wanted to be successful just as bad. I wanted my mom to breathe. And that's how much I wanted. And the last one. Thank you.